It's ridiculous.
Business idea.
Oh. Start a mob.
Be the mob. Can we start a mafia?
Like flash mob?
I feel like okay. You can do whatever you want to do with
Flash
your tits.
mafia?
It's not my problem. But if it brings it, is that not what a flash mob is?
Flash mob.
Oh my
Is
God.
that not what she's doing?
I just realized what you're saying.
From fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Pod Therapy. Real people, real problems, and real therapists. You can submit your questions anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. Now broadcasting from the Churn.
Scenic Koi Pond Studio.
That's Jim. That's Whitney. I'm Nick. It's time for some Pod Therapy.
We survived. They tried to stop us. They took away our studio.
Oh,
They
I
shot
was like,
Jacob
who tried to
twice
stop-
in the chest.
That's right.
We're still here.
I don't even know who they were.
Jim can't die
Very
even if
aggressive.
you try to kill him. He'll come back
Rises
to
from
haunt
the
you.
grave. So yeah, no, I like this plan of starting our own gambling
Flash
mafia.
mafia.
Whatever it is.
A
Flashing.
gambling scheme.
As a mafia, I suppose we're going to make money in many illegal ways. One of them could be Whitney runs around flashing people. I don't know how we get
That's
money
the
on
flash
that.
mob.
I mean, if you came to my place of business
Yeah.
and threatened me and said, sure would be awful if I came in here naked, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd pay you.
Okay,
I'd pay
no.
you to leave.
This is okay.
I'd pay you to get out.
Is this called
Yep.
extortion?
That's
Yes.
exactly what it is.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm not against it being
He's
bad.
already
If it's
part
a
of the
business
mob.
worth it,
Finding
we can
it.
make money
That
off
works
it. Yeah,
great.
we're going to be a
Yeah.
mob. Trust me, I'm not worried about what kind of crime it is. I just want to make sure it pays. Okay, so you just show up, you talk to 7-Eleven guy, like, hey, look at my dick. And then he goes, oh my God. You go, okay, do you want that to happen again?
Pretty much.
$20. 40 and I leave for a week. And then every week I come back.
40 a week.
And you see me walk in here, I want to see 20 on the counter immediately, and then I walk away. This is a solid
Sure
business
would be
model, guys.
ashamed to see these ass cheeks up against your window, wouldn't it?
I would really hate to have to work here every day and have me. Guys, this is not a bad idea. I also think we should do the gambling thing.
I don't think it helps with the
We
gambling.
veered away from the gambling
Okay.
part. But
Well, you
that's
got to have
alright.
money to make money, right? So like we start with the extortion thing, and then we
Right.
roll that into bookie business.
Yeah.
If you would like to find out why the fuck any of this makes economic sense under the Trump regime, and it mathematically does, patreon.com/therapy. You can hear our
We don't know if
political
starting a mob
analysis.
makes financial sense.
Oh yeah.
Yet.
Yeah.
I think we'd be bad at starting a mob.
Should we run this past the lawyers? Do you think we should check?
Hold on.
Any of our legal team?
No, that's fine.
I feel
I'll
like it's
check.
one of those things where the less they know, the more plausible deniability they have. So it's one of those things where it's like a wink and a nod, like Tony Soprano. We're like, hey, I don't need to know where this
I was
bunch
just
of money
gonna
came
say I've been
from.
watching The Sopranos.
Have you been rewatching it?
Well, the first time I told.
Oh,
you
that's
that.
right.
Ro-
That's right.
watching
Yeah,
it,
we did a
watching
bunch of
Yeah.
spoilers on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No more.
We did talk about in the pre-show today about how much of Jim's 40 before 40 list Whitney has done.
Yeah.
And it's
not small.
sizable.
It's not
A
small.
lot.
I believe it's, we were talking math earlier, I believe it's precisely 100% more than what Jim has done.
I think that's how that works. I feel
That
like
is how math works. That math is
yeah, that's
mathing.
probably
Yep.
correct. And also Laura seems to be doing a
And
whole
Laura's
bunch of fun
doing great.
midlife
She's
crisis
doing
and
awesome.
stuff. So we're just
Nick, how you doing?
How
I'm
many?
doing good.
Have you looked at the
Yeah, me
list?
too.
Yeah. 50 before 50.
It's a big number though. That's a lot of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
lot
Well,
of
and I
Things is a
got
lot
more
of things.
time. So
Oh shit. You got like more than 6
I got
months?
6 years.
All right. That is a lot of time.
Yeah.
I'm running out. I've only got 6 months left, but I have plenty of time. I'll sort it out.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
a big of a deal. A lot
Plenty
of things
of
are just going to
time.
fall off the list.
Jim, I
It's
do
a
agree that you have
cascade.
plenty of time to do the entire list.
Thanks, buddy.
I stand by my previous position, though, and say that you won't.
Okay. I feel like there's like some support in that. I mean, like there's
I
some
don't
like,
even
hey,
know if
buddy,
you'll
you
get to
can
half of
do
it.
it.
I believe that you're able to.
Yeah. That's the motivational poster from Jacob is, oh, you can do it.
You're able. You're able to do this.
And
You're able to
individual.
do this.
And
has this
individual
simply
can
won't.
do it.
Emphasis.
I want that to be a poster.
You
now.
can
You are
do it.
able to do this.
That's the chant. Yeah, you can do it. And Jacob's like, you can.
You
do
can.
it. You can. Well, no, you won't. Great. Well, welcome. Thank you for sticking with us as we go through our transition phase through studios and enjoy our new place with our only singular landlord now
That's right.
instead of an entire
Ooh.
show. So
It's SJ.
nice. It's just specifically
That's
SJ.
fair.
We are in her rehearsal studio, so she is graciously allowing us to camp out.
She was like, "You're going to set up in the studio, right?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Are you going to make it where I can move things
Aw.
to have a band rehearsal?" I said, "Yes."
Yeah.
She said, "Great. Okay."
Yes, dear. Yes. We
You'd
leave no
be
trace.
surprised how limited or how very little space pod therapy will take.
Yeah, that's right.
3 mics and a coffee table. We will be.
There are
just fine.
literally
And we're
4
flexible on the
mics.
coffee
Yeah,
table.
This is
Yeah.
the whole. This is,
There
we're
are
fine.
literally 4 microphones.
Amazing.
We could leave these out, and you wouldn't even know we were here.
Oh, they're getting left out. Oh, they're going to be left out.
I'm not trying to do more work than I have.
No.
So we've got some great questions for today's show, and leading off the order, differences in sex drives. Hello, Pod Therapy friends. I'm a 31-year-old woman who just met the best guy, and we've become official. Yay!
Woohoo!
We have open communication, both emotionally intelligent, and can talk about anything. Well, the other night, while we were having a few beers, I asked him if he wanted to have sex, to which he replied that I have a stronger sex drive than he does. All right, fair. I told him that I had been pressured in the past to have sex and it always made me uncomfortable and anxious, so I assured him that I would not do that to him. He appreciated that and confided that he had also been made uncomfortable by past partners for that very same reason. So here's my question. How do I ask him for sex without feeling like I'm pressuring him? I've sort of reverted to letting him drive when it comes to initiating, but I also don't want him to think I'm not interested because I'm not asking or feeling him up for fear of making him uncomfortable. I'm deeply empathetic to the fact that he just isn't as horny as I am because that was me in all of my previous relationships. I would never want to make him feel the way that I've felt, so I just want to tread lightly. I also want to get my fuck on. You know what I mean. Any advice would be...
Yes, we know what you mean. You just said it.
I feel like that statement is
You didn't
self-explanatory.
imply anything.
Not even a metaphor. Any
What does that
advice
mean?
would be... we have a lot of explaining to do for Nick. This is...
You see, when
adults, right?
when a Pod Therapy listener and their partner love each other
love
very
each
much,
or just are drunk. I
Yeah, have a few
or,
beers.
Or sober. After
or
a good
can
cup
tolerate
of
each other.
Yeah, it's fine.
enough.
Or it's a dark room and everybody's bored.
Yeah.
Any advice would be so appreciated from your collective reservoir of knowledge. Love y'all. Signed, all town, no pound. Solid. Let's normalize sign-offs like this, guys. This is what I want.
I like all town, no pound.
I love punny sign-offs. This is really good.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
disparity in libido. Okay, and then, but see, this is tricky too because I feel like there's a good discussion in the internet lands about various new flavors of sexuality that I think we're coming up with better words to describe what turns people on and what works for them. So like you've probably heard demisexual,
Yeah.
sapiosexual, like
Yeah.
people that are like, look, I'm not just always physically into it, but then I'm really attracted to somebody that I'm close to and develop emotions for, and then I do want to have sex with you. I've also heard like responsive sexuality, and so that person will say like, look, I'm never going to initiate, but like if you start to initiate, that does get me going, and now I do enjoy having sex.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have to initiate that. But
Yeah.
in Ryder's case, it sounds like that's a tricky situation because it's like, okay, how are you going to initiate this without it seeming like you're pressuring them? And do they even want that?
I know, especially with the history, too.
Yeah.
Like the sensitive histories from both people. I mean, and trying to be sensitive to that can be tricky. What I liked that I heard was that you both have really good communication. And my opinion is that it doesn't, just communicating about something or bringing up a topic doesn't mean you're pressuring anyone into something they don't want to do. So I would say, like when you're not in the mood, to bring this up with your partner in a way that's like, hey, about how often do you feel like you're in the mood, or yeah, do you
What
have
are
a
your
signal?
signals?
Like,
yeah.
because there's signals, right? Like as you
Right.
get to know your partner, it's like, oh, I know if they like say this one phrase, or it's like
Right.
a little like arm rub, or I've had
Right.
friends like say stuff like that, or
Right. Or
you know-
like not valedictorian, Victorian society, like they loosen their corset and you're like, what a whore. She wants it. I can
well,
tell.
they show your ankles.
Oh, shit.
Once
That's
you
it.
see the ankles,
Ooh, look at
it's
that.
on.
Look at that
Okay.
dirty girl ankles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I can
that's-
see all of
yeah.
our ankles. I don't know.
Oh, I
Do
didn't
you
know
feel
you were
turned on
looking.
by
Except for
Jim's-
Jacob's.
I didn't know that you
Jacob's
were
the only one
Jacob's
hiding
hiding
his
very
his
ankles.
ankles.
conservative.
Wow.
right.
You can't
That's
even
right.
see the heel of his
You
foot.
Victorian
He's got it
woman,
all
yeah.
covered.
Very chapped.
But he also wears that ball gown in his own home.
Right.
And so
I'm going to be comfortable in
this
my
is
own
his
home.
house. No, this is out. We're not questioning anything. Very conservative.
That's right.
Out on the streets, though, mini skirt hiked up, red
Yeah.
lipstick. I
Not at home?
Lady
when
in
he
the
gets home, he
sheets.
likes to be comfortable. 3-layer ball gown.
I agree, though. This is a conversation that, I think is a good one to have and just kind of get an idea of, like, paint a picture of what your ideal sexual relationship would look like.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
each person, being able to do that, and then being able to find a way to communicate that in a way that isn't pressuring. That's tough.
I like the idea of being curious. I like the idea of asking somebody, what are your tells? Or like do you notice that you have any patterns? Like, are you the kind of person that when we do have a couple of beers, you loosen up, and then like,
Right.
are you the glass of wine person that's like, I didn't want to have sex, but usually after I have one or two drinks, I'm now 70% more into it. And like, but I think that's what's so tricky is when you're being warned. And I think this cross applies to so many people. Like if your partner has any history of sexual trauma, this comes up a lot where it's like, part of our relationship though is meant to be this. I have, quote unquote needs. I desire you in our relationship. I shouldn't have to apologize for those things. That's not a predatory thing. We are in a consenting adult relationship. That should be a celebrated aspect that we have chemistry and that I'm into you. It'd be way worse if I wasn't into you. But then like I can feel like a villain or I can feel like I'm hurting you. And then you might feel pressured not to say anything because that might be part of your trauma is like, I don't want to signal this. So I just go with it. It's like such a dangerous game to play.
It is because even if you communicate that message, like, okay, so these are the things that kind of get me in the mood or kind of turn me on.
Right.
Then now as the other person, then you kind of feel like, okay, so those are the things I'll do. But how do you do those in a way that doesn't feel pressuring?
Right. Now you're just doing them because you want to get laid. You're trying to get me going.
The example of like, okay, yeah, a couple glasses of wine. And it's like, okay, well, how many bottles of wine did you get when you got grocery shopping?
Right.
12 bottles? We need 12 bottles of wine.
Are we doing this now?
Are we doing wine every night with every meal?
What are we doing?
Like, but then
So you can shoot your shot?
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, that's obviously an extreme example. But then now, let's say that's not the case. And it's like, okay, it's a weekend. We haven't had a bottle of wine in a while.
Right.
I'm going to pull out a bottle of wine for dinner.
Yeah.
And then it's like, he pulled out a bottle of wine. Now I feel like I have to do something.
Yeah.
Now I feel like, okay, he wants this. Well, I don't want it. I still don't want it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's a slippery slope.
It is a weird game because, like, this is one of those things, and I'm probably way off base here, so I'm just going to say that up front. As most probably
Usually.
just straight fucking wrong. But I feel like, okay, so All Town No Pound seems perfectly happy and is saying, hey, I get this. I am empathetic to this. I just want to be a good learner and I want to be a good partner. Mm-hmm. Great. I have no correction for that. What I'm about to say does not apply to you. However, I have seen these situations, and maybe it's an American thing, maybe it's different in the rest of the world. Sexuality, libido, appetite feels like this thing that I think new couples or dating couples, they talk about a little, but then there's like, it's very difficult to truly get a sense of where people are at. And then this conversation comes up and you've already connected to the person. Like you've already kind of fallen for them. We're already kind of dating. And now they reveal to you, I don't like sex.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, in the beginning you were gorgeous. You were throwing it at me. That was a big part of our fire. It's like, yeah, that's a beginning thing. Like that's how I kind of foster the connection. It's how I build the chemistry. And the other partner's like, wow, I fell for that though. That's what was advertised. And like, that's what I bought. Like I thought that was us. And now you're telling me, oh, by the way, that's not going to happen. And it's weird whenever you ask. And I see this in couples counseling a lot where like there's this resentment down the road and they say, hey, we have a sexual mismatch. And nobody's blaming anybody, but there's this argument of like, how do we advertise that earlier in the dynamic? Like I knew what you looked like. I could tell if you were my type. I knew what your career was. All these other things are presented to me. I know how much free time you have. I know what your family commitments are. I can simulate what being in a relationship with you is going to look like. So I have informed consent on every other area of our relationship.
You even kind of get an
sex is, like,
idea
not on there.
of like their finances.
Right.
Before
course.
the sex sometimes.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
Not Whitney.
you kind of learn early on.
Seems
Like,
weird
that
for
money
y'all.
up front.
We had no money when we started dating.
There ain't no
so
sex without that money.
it wasn't a problem.
well, I mean, like you're careful not to get into a long-term relationship and then realize that the person is $350,000 in debt.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah,
like,
that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, or needs you to pick them up for every date because they don't own a transportation. They can't get these things are all revealed as you're building that first phase of the relationship. But for whatever reason, I feel like, and again, the writer is not complaining about this, but I'm just looking through this letter and noticing sometimes this is an issue where you actually get feelings for a person and you get a few steps into this and you say, I think we're a thing now, and then discover this kind of a mismatch. And I don't blame anybody. I don't think anybody's being intentionally dishonest about it, but it's just a curious part of how humans talk and like whether humans even have that internal awareness and know how to language that or whether they feel comfortable with it. I don't know. It just seems like one of those things that like mismatches are much more common than I think we realize.
Yeah, I think that's where the open communication that All Town talks about.
Pound free.
Yeah. I really go back to as just kind of looking at the question again, and what really stands out to me is just that whenever you initiated sex that one night with the beers, he said, you have a higher sex drive than I do. To me, maybe in that moment, it's like, oh, okay, I'm getting the message. You're not in the mood. Let me like back off.
Yeah.
But I can't help but go back to what you said, Jim, where it's like, let's just be curious about this. So if you were to revisit that with your partner who seems emotionally intelligent, good communication, like that's the best case scenario here. Like, awesome. Love that, because that gives you an opportunity in my mind to approach them again and say, hey, you know, you mentioned this before, and what I've been doing is just sort of letting you take the wheel, letting you drive that initiation. Mm-hmm. Is that okay with you? Because I think back to what you're saying when there's mismatches, like if you pull back all the way, then then maybe they don't want to be the pursuer the whole time, or like,
that's
you know, like,
because
that can be tricky too.
Well, and that's the other side of this equation is, and I love the writer is being super duper sensitive. Gold stars, right?
I know, that's amazing.
Way to be a classy human being, be super sweet about this, and saying out loud, look, guys, I really don't want to cause any trouble for this person. I want to be awesome to them. I want them to always be happy with me. I think that's lovely. But speaking on your behalf in ways that you're not asking me to, but I'm noticing, there's another form of harm that can happen in this kind of relationship, right? Which is like, I'm feeling rejected. Mm-hmm. I desire you, and it's unrequited love or unrequited affection is one of the most painful things humans can go through. It is the plot line of many a story is like, you're looking at this person who you love and you value and you want intimacy with, and they do not have that feeling for you. And then this is where a lot of couples get to, where they're like, I feel like we're really good friends. I feel like I am your roommate, and I love you. I love you like family. I'm so close to you. But we don't have this part of the triangle here. And so like we're missing this. And there's a form of pain that I think that other person can experience. And this resentment can open up of like, if we just take the position of I'm waiting on you and you're going to initiate, then I could still see you resenting me, because then when I tell you my cup's empty and I'm hurting, I need you to make time for me. Now you say, well, now I feel pressured by you. Yeah. And so I guess I'm going to initiate, but really only because I'm compelled to. And at that point, and this is me now bitching, writer. This has nothing to do with you. Jim's way off the fucking map. At that point, I get involved in this and I'm kind of like, why are you in a relationship? Like, are you sure that's what you want? Are you sure you're not just looking for a platonic friend? Because if you're out there advertising that you're looking for a romantic connection in a relationship, but you literally have no interest in this part of the three-pronged triangle of a relationship, go to our patreon.com/therapy, go into the directory. There's an entire series on the triangle theory of love. It kind of goes over some of these references I'm making. But yeah, at some point I kind of look at that and go, are you looking for a relationship? So I love what the writer's saying. Hey, I'm trying to keep my side of the street clean. I'm trying to be friendly, but I'm anticipating some ways that this can get wrong, where it's like, okay, no problem. I'll just let you do all the thinking and you do all the initiating. And if they never do, what about your needs? What about, you know, are you a cad for like wanting more in that relationship and them not having that available? Are you bad? Or like at some point do we look at them and go, maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship. Like that's not what you're looking for. Now, again, I realize I'm talking out of my ass, but like, I see all these different flavors in couples therapy, and it just makes me think like of all the variations I could see this problem happen.
I mean, I can see that there's a lot of ways in which either party could take this and use it against the other person.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know, and just like, okay, well, I don't want to be pressured. I feel like you're pressuring me now. And then the other person's like, well, yeah, I am a bit.
Sure.
You know, because I also have needs too.
Right.
You know, and so like, I don't know. It could get messy very quickly. The best case scenario is hopefully the two of you can kind of sit down and have an adult conversation about this and just be open and honest about it without being willing or without taking and using any of this as ammunition later.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Being very, very kind about it.
Mm-hmm.
And like have this conversation when neither of you are horned up.
That helps.
Mm-hmm.
If
like,
there's ever such a time. I
Yeah.
mean, some people are
that's
24/7.
Okay, when both of you were less horned up.
There it is. Yeah. Yeah. That helps. No, but I like this point that we're making, because like sometimes I feel like we talk about sex as if it's just a mechanical thing. It's like working out. It's like, yeah, you know, I just don't like to do it as much as you do. It's like, oh, I get it. You know, like I don't like Slurpees. You know, like it's just this thing that's like this objective third thing that we're describing that's just a mechanism. And it's like, truthfully, it's this feeling of that you desire me, and therefore there's validation and affirmation in that, and that I have value in your eyes. Mm-hmm. Like that's a human quality. And if I'm with somebody that doesn't have any desire for me and you just see me as your friend, that is deflating. It's hurtful. It isn't just a question of whether you like the physicality of sex. It's a question of are you attracted to me? Do you have that energy toward me? And is it bad that I have that energy toward you? Am I always going to feel ashamed or guilty if I'm bringing you my sexual interest and you're rejecting me, or I feel like I'm attacking you and I'm predatory for that? So there's a lot here that I think a couple would need to unpack. The number one asset I think that everybody was saying is taking that posture of curiosity, but also insisting on some clarification and not saying, so Ryder, the thing that I am most worried about for you is taking a wait and see approach. And just like, hey, let's
don't
feel
do that.
it out and we'll find out when it organically arrives. I don't like that because it could be a system where it never organically arrives. And then you're left wondering, are you a responsive sexual person where I need to kind of initiate? And it's this constant Russian roulette of like, I guess I should try again and see if this time it fires. And like, I don't like anybody being that posture. So I think if a person's going to show up to a relationship and say, I have either a hypersex drive or a hyposex drive, because you're out of the normal range and you're aware of that, I kind of feel like it's your responsibility to sit down, develop a lot of personal insight, and give me the user's manual and tell me how to be a good partner to you and what do you need from me and what do you not need? When would it work? When would it not work? How can I tell? And if I need more clarification, I need it to be okay to talk to you about that without that conversation itself being threatening. So that curious approach, but a partner who's willing to step forward and I think be clear.
I think you can navigate the gap between a high sex drive and a moderate to low sex drive.
Right.
I think where you have a big problem is someone with high sex drive and someone with no sex drive.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Right. That becomes very problematic.
Anything else you can kind of navigate some sort of answer, some sort of
Right.
And then if it's high sex drive with high sex drive, then you've got like, how do we hold down a job?
Right,
How do we ever get in the house?
How do you stay hydrated?
Yeah,
right.
It's a desert out there.
So much baby oil.
How do we
Say
wash
that all
all
the
these sheets?
Yeah. How do we avoid the P. Diddy
You
trial?
don't have Shut the fuck. Baby oil.
Baby oil. You're going broke on baby oil. Anyway, Ryder, this is a really good question. And, there's so many variations to this. And again, I just want to remind the general audience, if you just listen to us through your regular podcast app, you're not part of the Patreon community. One of the things you're mostly missing out on at the chat level in the Discord is the conversation. I love going into the episode descriptions in our Discord and watching listeners kind of dialogue over these same questions and share their personal experiences and give that lived advice from different angles. So many different people have chimed in on these kinds of questions before, and people in our server have been like, hey, I'm asexual. Here's how I would interpret that answer. Here's how I do relationships.
There you go.
Very interesting, unique perspectives that we would never think to say on the show. So that's really a wealth of information too, Ryder. If you're not already part of that, I really hope you'll go find it, because I think that's great. But congratulations on your new relationship.
Yeah.
And I hope that you find the correct amount of pound that you need.
Yes.
Worst case scenario, if this doesn't get worked out between the two of you, next time you're in Vegas, stop by the studio and let the four of us
pound. Yeah. Are we offering to have sex with this person?
I wasn't going to say that.
That
I was
seemed
going to
like
say
where we were going.
I was going to say,
like,
mediate, but that's fine too.
Yeah, no, mediate, run a train,
pound,
yeah, whatever. Look, we're here to help. Okay, a lot of people accuse us of some shit. All right, and as we told the judge, Your Honor, we're just here to help.
Time for a commercial.
That's right. Let's take a commercial. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are discussing struggling with loneliness. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Jake Schneider, Malia, Richard Macy, Sunny Boy, Thunder Cougar, Falcon Scoop, Serpicaye Motherfucker, Sandra McWaffle, Alina, Gabrielle Adame, and Adam Warren. Would you like to sponsor the show? Become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy. Today's trivia theme
I'm going to try and cheat.
is...
Yeah, you always do.
I know. I'm going to turn this over here this
Dang
way.
it.
Our trivia
I'm
theme
sitting next
is
to Nick.
America.
America!
Fuck yeah!
Coming to save the motherfucking day.
All right. Jim,
Yes.
this state is the only U.S. state with a Spanish state motto.
I feel like you're hiding geography bullshit under the banner of patriotism, and I'm upset about it. This
Because
is
it says
fucking
it's
You
a
can
state.
feel however you
I'm
want
not
about
asking you to locate it or what its major river
It's going
is.
to be like American history shit or something cool. Well, okay, so it's a Spanish-named state?
No, it's a U.S. state. It's the only U.S. state with a Spanish state motto.
Oh, my God.
States have state mottos.
Yeah, like Nevada has like
Oh, yeah, all for our country.
something like that.
Or Battle Born or something.
It's one of those.
I was like, home
Fuck.
means Nevada.
All right.
That's the song.
means Nevada.
All right. Spanish. I mean, so you got Florida down there, or the other one's New Mexico. I feel like that's a pretty... Okay, give me New Mexico.
No.
Definitely.
I would
not.
like options.
You could have had them.
Shit.
I would
Jake,
like options.
Would you like
God
to steal?
damn it.
Oh, okay.
All for our country is the Nevada motto.
Very
by the
proud
way.
that I know.
Okay.
that.
A, the one that Jim said it's definitely not New Mexico.
Right.
Shit.
B, Vermont.
Oh.
C,
It's Vermont.
Montana.
It's obviously
D,
Vermont.
California.
Take Vermont.
Ooh. I'll go California.
No.
Okay.
Shit. We
Whitney.
both fell for the same trap. It's where the white people live.
Vermont or Montana?
Montana.
God damn.
Montana.
Yeah.
No point for Nick.
Woohoo. No point. I know. I was like, shit, I
Almost
cannot
point
give
for
Nick
Nick.
that
I
point.
was so
Increasingly
close.
whiteifying. Wow.
What is
right.
the motto, Nick?
Yeah.
the motto.
Jesus.
It's the motto with you.
Ah.
Oro y plata.
Which means
Gold,
Gold.
and silver.
I was like, gold
Oh.
something.
Yep.
Huh.
Gold and silver.
I thought plata just meant plate.
I think that's plateau.
Yeah.
Plata.
Okay.
I think a plateau is the like a mountain with the top cut
That's
off.
a
It's like flat
plateau.
on top.
Ah, that's a flat.
No. I think that's the animal with like the bill and
Yes.
the spurs.
Yeah.
and they're
Oh,
like
right,
somewhat
right.
venomous.
Semi-aquatic mammal.
Yeah.
Pato.
that's it.
Found
It's
in
duck.
found in Montana.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Jacob.
Yes.
The historic Route 66 ran from Chicago to Santa Monica, California,
True.
and crossed
Nailed
how many states?
Oh shit.
Oh, I don't know.
Take options.
Options.
5, 6, 7, 8.
God damn
5,
it.
6,
Where did it
7,
run
8.
from?
Chicago, Illinois to Santa Monica,
I didn't
California.
realize it was Chicago.
I didn't
It's like a
either.
big
I would have
hook,
gone that
right?
route.
Doesn't just hook.
I thought it was
Santa
just to
Monica.
Texas or something. Like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
They probably didn't
I
even
don't
hit
know.
Texas.
8,
Going on
correct.
the
All
hot
right.
side. Nice. Wow.
Well done.
All right, Whitney.
Okay.
In what year was the 13th Amendment abolishing slavery ratified?
False.
Oh, I just saw this not too long ago.
Shut
I
up.
guess
No, you
options.
didn't. Act like you're watching documentaries. or some fucking
1821, 1865, 1888, 1892.
shit. God damn. Yeah, just shoot. Just shoot from the hip. She's trying to cheat. She's looking.
1892.
You son of a bitch.
No.
You're
No.
showing her
Dang
the
it.
laptop.
No, I'm not.
She just looked at, or she's staring at
Well,
your
I got
dick.
She also got
She's
the-
either looking at your dick or the laptop. Either
also
way,
got a wrong
it's not
answer.
really my business, but I'm upset if it's the first
Well,
one.
I was tempted to look. I had
Or
to
second
glance
one.
over just in case I could
fine.
see a little
Look at
bit.
his dick all you want, but just
Oh, that
fucking
was the
cheat on
laptop, not the
trivia.
dick.
You can cheat on Pete. I don't give a shit.
Did you hear that, Peter?
This is about trivia. This is all about trivia.
Got the
Well, now that he's taking home less money each year.
sanctity of the trivia.
integrity of this game is more important than anyone's relationship. I don't want to hear otherwise.
Not my business.
Okay.
I'll be damned if you cheat on me.
You got a guess?
Oh, what did you guess?
You don't
It
get to,
doesn't matter.
hear.
Give me the options, Nick.
1821, 1865, 1888, or 1892?
Give me 65.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that was.
Yeah, go
what I
watch
thought of later.
Lincoln. That's how you know that shit.
Haven't watched
I watch
it, so-
movies,
I was
son.
going to put
I watched
63,
Sully, not
64,
Lincoln.
65, 66.
That would have been great.
But then I was like, no, I know my audience.
Yeah, exactly.
I got
You'll
a space
miss.
season.
I don't know. Jacob's here.
Not
He's the
worried.
history guy.
It's not going to be ultra competitive. Yeah, I only know shit because I watch movies. That's 100% of why I know things.
I don't
So we're all
think you know
tied?
shit.
I got that
For
one
one?
right.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
proven myself.
All
I
right,
nailed
well
that
done.
shit.
1 to 1 to 1.
Struggling with loneliness. Hi, I'm struggling with being lonely. I'm 31. I've been broken up from my son's father for almost a year now. Our son is 3 and special needs, suspected autism, and he's nonverbalish. He's just got one word right now. And I'm his primary caregiver. His dad gets him once a week. I moved a city away from my friends and family to be with my ex when we were dating, and I stay here now because my son's pre-K school is here and his babysitter and his dad. I have 3 close friends I've had most of my life, but they all struggle with mental or physical health issues and aren't able to talk or hang out a lot. I feel bad bothering them with my problems because I know they have so much going on, and half the time when I go to talk to them, they aren't available, which I totally understand. I have a therapist I see, and she's wonderful, but she's not a friend, of course. I've tried to make new friends, but haven't been successful. I'm not interested in dating. I lean on my work mom and work dad a lot, but sometimes I feel bad if I overshare. I have a pretty tight schedule, so it's hard to make time, and while I do see my family some, I find myself very lonely. I find myself wondering what people I watch or listen to would think about my problems or my day. Like you guys, I guess. I reminisce a lot about my past and have imagined conversations with people I used to know in my head. I don't really see an end in sight to my loneliness. I'm trying to just work on myself right now and try to be the best mom I can be and try to remember those positive changes in my life as I see my son improve, as I lose weight and eat healthier. I just can't escape this feeling of being alone. I feel sad and isolated and like I'm really just talking to myself a lot of the time. Do y'all have any advice? Thanks for having a wonderful podcast. You truly do make a difference. Sincerely, Anonymous. Pronouns are she and her. And P.S. If possible, save this for when Whitney's going to be on.
Oh, shit.
I really like her advice. Well, no accountant for taste, I guess. That's fine. So we were all discussing before recording that this sounded super familiar. So at a minimum, we know we've had a question in the past that rings a bell about this. We're hoping we didn't reread the same question from the past.
It's also possible that we've seen it when it came in and somehow it got shuffled out.
Yeah.
And then because
so we may have
we're
seen
also
it, but
very
never read
inept,
it.
is what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
We're a well-oiled machine, is
Yeah.
what I'm hearing.
Yep.
Just no
You know, and
mistakes
we
to be
have a
made
fucking
ever.
intern. Okay, we need to make her do this shit. Why are we doing anything? She needs
That's a
to just be our
solid
production assistant, and she just sends us the fucking script.
Oh
we
my
should be.
gosh. Patreon.com/PodTherapy.
No,
That's how you
damn it,
find your
it's Flash
friends.
Therapy. Wow, Whitney.
What is it?
Jesus. Wow.
I'm like, whatever.
Whatever.
I don't
Piece
know.
of shit.
I barely got on the Patreon like a few months ago.
So this writer specifically wants your advice on
I
this. So as
know.
also a woman with no friends,
Wow. Way to call me out. I was going to say, call me, be my
you know what?
friend.
Get the Patreon right, and maybe we'll be friends.
I know. No, this whole like loneliness epidemic. I
Right.
mean, not to sound cliche, but it's a real thing. I
Yes.
think being an adult, moving to new places, that in itself is happening more than ever. Like just moving away from family.
Right.
And in this case, you were with your ex at the time, if I'm reading that right or hearing that right. So you were doing this for your family, and then now you have a child together. You can't just I mean,
Right.
some people can,
Which
but
you legally probably can't, but also
I know.
resources are there for the kid.
Exactly. Resources are there for your kid that needs them and is comfortable in the space they're at. So it would probably be a big deal to uproot your kid. And so you're kind of stuck a little bit is what
Yeah.
I'm hearing. I mean, when it comes to making new friends, I kind of want to go the route of normalizing for half a minute. I mean, you have a 3-year-old.
Right.
Like you're in a somewhat high needs,
Sure,
3-year-old
special needs,
potential
yeah.
special needs. I mean, that is tough. That's
It
like
is
a
very
tough.
tough.
It's already tough for even friends of mine that move out of state, move to another state. We'll chat every now and then, and they're like friendly people, like very friendly, outgoing, extroverted people, and they still struggle to make
Right.
friends in new states for quite a while. I remember when I moved to Nevada, it was really challenging to like make friends. I would say for a year or two. Like it
Right.
just
You're
to-
really off-putting.
I'm very
I think that's a
off-putting.
big part
I
of
get
it.
in people's space.
No.
Yeah.
I smell funny, so that doesn't
Yeah,
help
it's
either. It's just not good. So,
Really aggressive.
I
And
know.
God.
is that why you always
Take a
meet
deep
behind my
breath.
back?
Yeah, it is.
Well,
It
damn.
is.
We tell you when we're doing it. It's not behind your back.
No, and that you're not
After the
invited.
fact.
We just let you know that you're not invited.
It's front of your face. So I guess a part of me, I think you even said this in there, it won't last forever. I mean, things will get better. I want to just say that this sounds like just a tough time in your life. So, that's like just the start of like what I have to say. But I mean, we have the go-to advice we share, I think, a lot, which is like, go to meetup groups and all this stuff. The number one thing I hear from clients that I work with who are struggling with this is it's just a lot of effort. It's so much effort to put into creating a friendship, and you're not sure if it will pan out or if they'll call, or I hear this a lot, like, oh, we were getting along great, they just like kind of ghosted me, or just I don't even know what I did. It's rough out there.
It is.
So I just want to throw out there that it is a lot of work to put into creating friendships, creating connections. And if you're in a space where maybe you have a lot of other things going on, this may not be the era.
Yeah.
Like just for now that you're able to do that. I would also say like whatever for people with kids, Jim, you can let me know if you have any input on this, but
Well,
I like
me too. I got dogs.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
can.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
You
much
know
the
what?
same thing.
This
Yeah.
is fair for dogs.
Yeah.
Do you go? You don't take your dogs out of their house though.
No,
It's
they're very
true.
needy.
That's
They're
true.
special needs dogs.
All right.
They're
They're introverted dogs.
they're just a lot. They're a lot. I'll just. They're a lot.
Well, what I was gonna say was like, I don't know, connecting with people like at the park, or
Right.
since your child's a lot younger, or maybe through his class or their classes, like your kids' classes. If you have other parents that know what you're going through, you can kind of connect on that. And I hear that with clients I have with children with autism who are on the spectrum, it can feel extra lonely. Like
Right.
I'm just going
Right.
through this trial kind of on my own, and because every child's so different.
Right.
So I have seen for them like going out meeting others who are kind of in similar
There have
situations.
to be support groups for parents of children with special needs, right?
There's a lot of mommy and me groups.
There
Yeah.
are. Sometimes what I hear with those is that it gets very, it becomes very much about like, I don't know, like the struggle
Yeah.
of
Right.
each individual kids rather than the adults connecting
Oh,
though.
Right.
It's always about the kids.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
We're not friends so much as we're.
You'd have to
staring
get
at the
past
same
that. I'm
thing.
not
I
saying
think
it's
you do.
impossible. You
Yeah,
just
yeah.
have to like,
I have a few
yeah.
friends that have kids with special needs. I've got one good friend of ours. She has a son on the spectrum, and like the whole nine. Like did the in utero testing and everything, and everything came up negative, and then the 1,000-to-1 shot, and yeah, all the stuff.
Wow.
Just real tough over and over again. And just a great kid. But she finds a lot of friends in other special needs parents
Yeah.
because they have a real understanding of what her day-to-day life looks like.
Right.
Yes.
So when she says like, hey, well, let's make plans for Saturday, everyone is aware that
That
those
may not
plans are very tenuous at
That's
best.
nice.
Everyone just
That's a
knows
great
that. Everyone
point.
just has that information already.
Yeah.
There's no explaining any of that. It's just like, we're gonna hopefully do something on Saturday.
Yeah.
I think those groups are a great jumping off point.
Yeah.
Like they're a great place to meet people. And then from there, then you can kind of decide which ones that
Right.
you kind of click with and kind of start
also
making
gives
plans
you
with
kinda, like,
outside of the group.
Practice
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
for like
Yeah.
putting yourself out there and making some friends and everything.
I mean, just in general, I think when it comes to just making friends, even if we're not talking about being a parent or even being a parent of a child with special needs, but like just making friends in general, I've always found that the best way is being in environments where you're around people in situations where you don't set it up or you don't schedule it.
Okay.
So like, I made these connections because we were always at the same place doing the same
I
thing.
see. We keep bumping
Like,
into each
yeah,
other.
like we don't have to call and say, hey, let's go hang out, or hey, let's go do this.
Right.
I just see the same people over and over
I
again.
agree.
Right.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's like, oh, hey, I'm going to do this thing. You want to come with me? And then you kind of start forming relationships that way.
Yeah.
I want you to rewind your podcast machine just a few seconds to when Nick first started talking about it, and I want you to assume that Nick was talking about the glory hole.
yeah.
And if you assume that
You
Nick was
weren't?
talking about the glory hole, that was such an
That's
interesting
what I
description.
thought. Yeah.
Wow.
That's where I meet everybody.
You're gonna make me actually listen to one of my own
Don't do that.
episodes.
Oh.
because I know I really
Oh.
want to do this.
Now you have
really,
to.
Yeah.
No, this is really good advice. I like this idea of like,
Glory hole?
The glory
He
hole.
loves
Of course.
that
That's where
when we
it's
talk
number
about
one
that.
social place. It's the old glory hole.
The old glory hole.
That's where I meet everybody. No, but I like this idea of like meeting people incidentally, meeting people in this like ancillary way that you're not targeting them, you're not one-on-oneing, but you're sort of like gathering. But I also think what's interesting is like our definition of friendship. I can't know if it's changed through time. I feel like older people tell me that friendships have changed over time, and I feel like that's the general critique of like the internet age, is that everything has changed as far as how deep our relationships are. Or maybe it's a lifespan thing. Maybe it's not generationally. Maybe it's an America thing. Maybe it's like our friendships when you are younger are very, very important. And like they're very deep, and they're very like, even though you might not know everything about this person, like you put a lot of like connection energy on that person. And maybe part of adultification is like slowly it's like, I feel like in my world, I was just putting my daughter to bed this weekend, and we were chatting, and she was like, oh, what are you doing? I think it was last night. And she's like, what are you doing tomorrow? And I said, oh yeah, I'm going to record, and that's what I'm doing. And she just got curious. She's about 10, and she's like trying to get all your names right. 'Cause she hears me talk about you, but not a lot. Like I just say, like I'll be telling my wife like, oh, I'm going to go to the bar with Nick afterward. Like, okay, cool. And so like, that's about it. So my daughter's picked up your names over the years. And so she just like decided to ask questions about you. And so she's like, so which one's Nick? Like, tell me about that. And it's like, you've met Mr. Nick, and
When are we going to do a Jim brings his daughter to work day?
Yeah.
Can that happen?
I did that once, and
We've
Nick
done
has
that.
forbidden me from ever doing it again. Yeah,
No,
the
I think-
agreement of pod therapy rests on this one agreement.
No, I think now would be better. Your kids are older now.
They are much
Yeah.
older. They
How old was she?
yeah.
Like 5 or
Yeah.
something?
Nick and I, over the years, we've established 2 agreements to continue pod therapy. It started with he agrees never to beat me up, and so that's also why that's never happened. If you've wondered, like, what's the deal? Like, how has he never just caught a fist?
Yeah.
That was an agreement.
Gotcha.
And then the other one happened several years in whenever I brought my kids once to a recording because we were stuck on time. It just had to happen. It did not go well. And then afterward, Nick was like, so that's the second agreement now. And now the first one's contingent on the second
Are
one.
these amendments?
So
or
I don't want to catch
agreements?
a fist. And so, these amendments have been added. The second amendment of pod
Yeah,
therapy.
the Second Amendment is
Right
what
to
I
bear
want to hear.
arms.
If you break that other amendment, I'm going to have to learn how to throw fists. Just so I can break that other one.
I think you can just fake it long enough to scare me. I think it'll work. I think I'll cry.
No, it's the fear of thinking it could happen.
That's most of it.
And then once I throw the first one, and
the
it's,
open
it's
slap.
all red.
Open slap.
And it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's all red. Like, wait a minute.
Stop.
I could take 3 of these.
It's
I
like
think.
a kid like fearing the deep end of the pool. Right. I've been afraid of this whole time.
It'll
This
work
is
out.
fun.
Yeah, my daughter was asking about you guys. So I'm like going over, you're like, okay, so Nick and blah, blah, blah. And she's mostly interested in how many pets you all have. So I'm like, I'm going to Jacob's house. She goes, does he have dogs? I'm like, yeah, he has dogs. They're like corgis, I think. And she's like, oh, okay, what are their names? I'm like, fuck, I don't know. Like, they're
Corgis?
nice dogs.
Call
They're definitely
them
dogs.
Not
Bugs, Chief.
corgis.
No, they're definitely not.
I said they were corgis. So I'm going to have to fix
Lied to your daughter.
So yeah, I'm explaining what animal interactions each of you have because that was the most interesting thing about each of you, in her opinion. The ducks thing was a big thing. She was
Oh
like,
my gosh, I'll
ducks?"
send
I was like,
videos.
she doesn't have ducks. She has ducks in like an illegal way.
Yeah.
The ducks have her.
Yeah,
I think
they
more-
do. They didn't
the
come
ducks
this year, and I was
have a
very
one-sided
upset.
relationship. I don't know that she has a possessive over them. But no, it's just funny because as I'm talking about each of you, then my daughter goes, "Do you have any other friends?" And I was like, first off, I don't like your tone.
Excuse
I was
ma'am.
like immediately tearing up. I'm like, what do you mean?
I don't know what the word "other" is doing in that sentence.
I was like, well, yeah, you've met Mr. Eddie. And she goes, yeah, you like grew up with Eddie, right? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, yeah, but I mean like other friends.
Do you refer
like,
to all of your friends as Mr. and Mrs. to your kids?
off and
all
on.
right.
I don't like my kids referring to people by their first names, so I like
Why?
them to try to get the Mr. or Miss in there when they can. If they talk about you to me, I don't mind using a first name, but I don't like them getting in the habit in case they, see you. But anyway, so
I prefer sir.
yeah, no, I've
That
told
makes
them.
a
Yeah.
difference. So, okay.
As my children know, no eye contact.
Yeah.
Don't look Mr. Nick in the eyes. He doesn't like that. But no, it's just really funny because she was like, "Yeah, do you have any other
Long
friends?" I'm
dong,
like, "Yeah,
schlong."
I don't. No, not really." And I'm just sitting there thinking about it, and I'm like, "Yeah, you 3 are probably my closest friends, mostly because we have a shared project that I see you for 2 hours
Every single week.
and that's the only.
It's like your
reason.
job, like how
It's
the
just-
people
it's
at your
a kind
job
of a
become your
job. Like, we all
friends.
hang
Yeah.
out because we're supposed to.
You
And
didn't
like,
explain to your daughter that this was the reason that you were very afraid that we were going to not have a studio in person?
Yes. Yeah, she's like, Daddy, why are you crying about the studio thing?
I won't see my friends.
Do you even like your podcast? Like, no, I don't care if it closes tomorrow. I just really don't want these guys to stop hanging out with me. But no, it just really made me reflect on like the concept of deep friendship and like that like I imagine like you have these like perimeters, like these little circles around you of like how intimate your friendships are. And it for you 3 to be told you're probably my closest friends is, I'm sure, a little off-putting for you because like we're not close. Like, what are you talking about? Why would you use that word? And it's like, I see you the
You
most.
notice we're all shifting in our chairs.
Yeah. Everybody's very uncomfortable. I know you all start
No
checking your
one's
phones.
looking at eye
Immediately,
contact.
everybody starts checking their phones, trying to wait for this moment to pass. Like, is he going to shut up? Is he going to move on? Can we go back to the fucking question now? But no, just it rang in my ears for a second because I realized like we are not very close. But that is the
Whose fault
proximity
is that?
between me and the next
Because you don't
closest
invite me
friend.
anywhere.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like if I said the
Thank you.
closest body to Earth is Mars. And you're like, but that's not a close thing at all. I'm like, I know.
I'm ready
It's
to go to
closest.
I'm ready to go to Top Golf whenever you want.
Oh, here we go.
Yes.
But no, I think that's an interesting part of how friendships it adapt. And like going back to Whitney's
friend
point
group
where I
will
think
go.
Whitney was trying to normalize, like, hey, you have a 3-year-old kid. Like, I don't want you to feel like an outcast. I don't want you to feel like you don't have friends. And I think that's the route I'm trying to go on this, is circuitously to get back to this point of like, I've noticed, I think, and I don't know if you guys relate to this, Whitney, I feel like you're pretty good at friendship. I feel like you always mention friends that you're legit staying in touch with.
I have
feel like
one more
Jacob's
thing I'm
pretty
going to
good
add in a
at
minute.
friendship. I feel
on
like
how
he
do
makes
that.
time for friends.
I'm fine. I'm
Nick,
fine.
I feel like you
Jacob's
have
got a
friends
lot of
if
friends.
they agree to
I
golf
do.
with you.
He's a
Like
friend.
Most
you-
of my friends are golf friends, with
Yeah,
the
Nick has a
exception.
lot of friends too.
Yeah, with the exception of my friends back home in Iowa.
And me.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
you?
Peter and I were just talking
that wasn't
about
in there.
so how you
That was in.
Oh yeah, I added
That was
it.
in there.
I just kind of added. I shoehorned it in
before
there.
you got.
Oh,
Before I
okay.
got to it.
I just
was gonna,
okay. You know what? I'm fine with that. That's
all right.
Danielle's
No,
gonna help
Peter
me.
and I were talking the other day about how you organize your like not
This
really
annual
annual, but
voice
your
trip.
Yeah.
your trips
yeah.
with your friends every
Yeah.
year. I'm like, look at Nick doing being a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being a
And
good
when I
friend.
don't do it, they don't happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to have the one person.
I am,
Yeah.
I'm
You
that
gotta
guy.
have that person.
The one person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm not that person. I'll never be
Oh,
that person.
okay.
You'll go.
I'll go.
See,
That's
I'm the
fair.
guy that will. If you call me, I'll go. Thanks for inviting me.
Right.
Jim
I will
won't
not
go.
I will not go.
He'll pretend like
I
he's
will not
gonna
be
go.
going. I was invited to Costa Rica by Eddie, and he's like, "I will pay for everything." I was like, "I don't want to fucking."
Oh my God! What is wrong with you?
Far away, guys.
Get
There's, like,
out!
bugs.
Just leave,
There's
Jim.
so many
Ugh.
bugs.
The reason I'm going to Portugal is because somebody was like, "Hey, we got a house. Come stay in it."
Yeah.
Like, great.
Perfect. Oh my god!
I think they have bugs in Portugal. You should look at it. I'm just saying they're bugs.
Okay,
Anyway.
my other
Oh,
thing.
I found a scorpion in the house the other day.
Did you light it up
Not just in the house.
in Jim's chair that he's sitting in?
It was in Jim's chair.
Yeah.
It was directly over Jim's head.
No.
Right now.
Is he looking at me? I don't want to look.
Yes.
No, I was in the shower and
Go
felt
on.
something on my back
Yeah, you did.
and like reached back and brushed it off.
Oh,
and it was
yeah.
definitely a scorpion that had somehow like I don't
Snuck
know.
into the shower. He had a towel around his waist. He put his hand on your shoulder, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
So here's my bet. My bet is he came in through the attic.
Oh,
And he
can he go up there?
And there's like an air vent.
That seems high.
I mean, they climb.
I don't. Do they?
Well,
sure.
yeah, they
Oh,
make
Christ.
homes in palm trees.
Oh
Yeah.
no. Oh, well, yeah. I don't know. I didn't know they were.
I've seen one on a shower curtain before.
Yeah.
just
in the
holding
middle,
on?
like just,
Oh, yeah.
They're
it's just
fucking
on the shower
geckos.
curtain.
Oh, that's terrifying. I thought they were kind of just grounders. Like,
They're not as like climby as some things, but they
Yeah.
can
But
climb.
they will if they need to.
I don't think of them as like spiders.
No,
You're
they're not
find
that-
them all
they're
over
not
the
that
fucking
climby.
place. Okay, they can if they have to.
Yeah.
How do we
Was he
count
big?
scorpions?
He's a medium-sized guy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He got smacked with a towel.
Okay.
I had my towel. So
Did you do the whip? You did the
No, I just kind of like because
spiraled it, right? And you just
no, because it was just a quick like brush him away with
Playful.
the towel thing.
one quick smack on the ass. I know what you
And
did.
then I was like, SJ, bring me a shoe
Yes. Which is not a weird thing to ask.
in the shower.
Usually when you're in the shower, she's, this again.
yeah.
Are we
Bring
doing
my
this?
shower
And so she
shoes.
comes in
Bring me
there.
my shower shoe. Only the one.
She comes in there
Shower loafers.
and is like, I've got house shoes on. Will that work? I said, no, bring me a shoe.
Need a big
Shoe
And I'm
you
shoe.
like,
never wanna
and I'm
see
not
again.
looking up at him. Like I'm looking directly at the thing.
Never look away.
Because we have rocks. Like our floor in the shower is all rocks.
Oh, so you could lose him in there.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh
Yeah.
my!
I was like, if I take
gosh.
my eye off of him, I'm
He's
going to lose
gone.
him.
Yes.
We
only
saw
thing
this
worse.
And so she brought the shower.
giant thing on our wall. It's
What's it? Some kind of bug, yeah.
that's our garden hose. This bug was like 2.5 inches
yucky.
long.
Yikes.
This looked like a
Yeah, like
cockroach.
a big water bug or something.
Oh,
I don't
Lord.
know, but Peter's like, go get me a shoe. That's what made me think
Yeah.
of it.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't think you can kill that with a shoe. That thing's big. It's
Jesus.
like
You're just
firm.
going to piss it off.
Yeah.
Right. And it's going to come back. for
Yeah.
you.
So he got a box and I scooped it in. He's like, thanks for doing that. I couldn't have done. He's such a wuss with bugs. I'm like,
hey,
let
I'm on
me
his team
give
about
me
that.
it.
So anyway, writers, spray for bugs. I
Yeah.
feel
Okay,
like is,
no,
And we
here's-
just had the house sprayed the other week, and I'm like,
see.
I don't know, y'all got to come back out.
Yeah. Okay.
'Cause usually our service is really good, and like
Do they
this
spray
time,
inside though?
they spray inside a little bit.
It's because it's been
Okay.
raining maybe
Yeah.
a
Yeah, I don't
lot.
know.
Well, that's
Maybe.
why the bugs go inside is because you sprayed outside.
No.
That's what that is.
I just said he sprays inside.
No, but not enough.
We'll get to you.
He's getting in there. Go ahead.
Okay, so here was my other piece of advice was for my friends that are long distance, because the writer said they have like 2 or 3 friends they're close with but live far away and your schedules don't align and all that. One of my favorite apps is Marco Polo.
Oh,
Do you know this app?
No.
Yeah, isn't that a sex app?
Oh, it could be.
I think
Depends
it
on who
is.
you're Marco Poloing to.
Anything can be.
Exactly,
Yeah, okay, good point.
anything
Yeah,
could
yeah.
be.
Have you heard
Mental
Disney
fit
Plus?
personal training.
Do you have an app?
For the right price,
I
mental
have
fit
an
personal training will
If it
also
is
be a
used
sex app.
correctly.
That's correct.
Always a number.
You're gonna have a spike in.
I
I
know.
hope I
This is
do.
finally when
Downloads.
he's like, guys, I'm going to retire. I'm doing really well.
The feet pics.
Turns out I was going
really
about this
healthy.
all wrong.
It's cardio. I'm doing really good cardio.
No, Marco Polo is a video app where you record a video and send it,
Oh.
and they can watch it
Easily
whenever.
a
It's
sex
like
app.
Marco Polo or whatever, you know.
Okay.
But what's great about it is you can
video
do it
messaging.
any time of night, and then they can just listen to it or watch it whenever they can.
Okay.
And respond. Like one of my cousins who lives in Colorado, like, we'll sometimes go a while without talking. Then we'll have a little Marco Polo back
That's
and forth
cute.
for a minute and just update. But it's kind of nice if you're in that weird in between where someone's super busy and you just
Right.
can't get your schedules to align.
Right.
I love it because you get to see their face. It's like FaceTime, but
it's not
just little
synchronized,
videos.
not live. You don't have to stop
No,
what
it's
you're
just a
doing
video.
and
Nope.
take the call. So it's
you
as
don't.
It's a
impassive
video
as
text.
a text, but then
video
it's
text,
much
yes.
more personal.
Yes.
I like that a lot.
Mhm. And it has a free version. Obviously, you can pay for like other perks, but it's free. So
Okay.
I love that one. That helps me stay in touch with my friends that, live far away on different time zones. So
Yeah. And I think one of you had the advice, is Nick, was talking about like finding a common interest and like aggregating around that. And the writer talks jokingly, they tease themselves in the letter about how they've done a little bit of parasocial bonding to us, and saying like, sometimes I feel like you guys are the only ones that I would talk to. Like I
Right.
imagine what it's like
Yeah.
to talk to you, because I feel like I listen to you and I get to know you and we're part of these friendly conversations. And like, to me, that is one of the coolest parts of the new age of internet relationships and stuff and parasocial relationships, aggregating around a podcast.
yeah.
Like a lot of the people that we are just, Nick and I at least, or me personally, that we are just friendly with, we've
try
met
to
through
loop you in there.
or we've met through ICS,
Oh,
Ice
yeah.
Cream Social, just being invited to their live things like Scoop Fest coming up this September.
Woohoo!
HeyScoops.com.
That's
Come
right.
buy your tickets. Is a great way to meet real people and become friends with them. And then we talk to them on the Discord and just become like longtime friends. And then when they're passing through town, they'll just ping us and go, hey, I'm coming to Vegas independent of Scoop Fest. Let's grab a beer. Let's get together. Let's go to dinner. Like, just want to see you guys.
I
It's
just
great.
remembered something. Do you guys remember last week when Jim said he was going to come to the Bucket Show?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What a great
Huh.
show.
Was it? It was good?
There was so much improv. And I thought the bucket
So many
was
buckets.
nice.
Yeah.
The buckets,
Yeah.
there's a primary bucket, but then there's support buckets. And I
That's
felt
so
like they
funny.
were all, the pianoing was very pianoful. I just, I was, so
Well, thank you.
it was very good.
Good.
I thought you played excellent piano.
Thank you.
And trombone.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys really should have been there. It was,
I actually did put it on my
Unless you
calendar.
were
I was like,
there.
I'm going to go. I went to bed at 9:00.
Oh, yeah,
I was
yeah,
so
yeah.
tired. I was
I
like,
think,
no.
I was in the post July 4th.
Oh, that
haze,
kicked my ass.
Where I was like, yeah, I'm not going anywhere tonight.
Yeah.
Jim needs a full 8 hours. I'm going to bed early. But
Lame.
no, I think that this is a very relatable thing, writer. I mean, obviously, so many humans talk about this all the time. I think trying to find friendships, especially during this phase of life with a special needs child, but just a 3-year-old where they just constantly need you, and it's hard to find that time. And then being a single parent, not having that relief. I just think there's a lot of layers to this, but I just want to be an encouraging voice. I mean, and also normalize, digital relationships. And we've been talking about this for a while. We need to get somebody on our Discord to be the official game planner and get something
I
going.
want to, yeah.
Because when I mentioned it in a previous episode, there's a bunch of people in the Discord that said, Jim, do that thing. Like you said, you wanted to start it like a game night, and like here's how you create events. In the Discord, people were trying to tell me to do it. The mistake they made was trusting me to do that.
Yeah.
When I just shout ideas into the void, and then that's
Hope
why
someone-
we have a
hope it
Discord.
sticks.
Is because I shouted the idea into the void, and Manu built one. It's also why we have a website. There's a lot of things that just get
Wow.
done because we
Manu
say
does
things
a
and
lot.
then don't do them. Right? People are like, okay, they're way too incompetent. I'm going to do this for them. So somebody please on our Discord create a game night. This person needs to come join it. Patreon.com/therapy. For $1, you can be part of our little online community.
Yes.
It's a great group of people. Good place to talk, just chat with folks. And we have a live chat room in there. You can turn on your video. You can play video games with other people. It's a lot of fun. So at least that might be one outlet for you. But thank you for writing in, writer. Just know that we're rooting for you. And I'm sorry that we waited for Whitney for this one. I'm sure you were underwhelmed. Which is,
Wah, wah.
wah, wah. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are talking about psych medicine and tummy problems. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Jake Schneider, Malia, Richard Macy, Sonny Boy, Thunder, Cougar, Falcon, Scoop, Slurpee K, Motherfucker, Sandra McWaffle, Alina, Gabriel, Adame, and Adam Warren. And if you'd like to sponsor the show, become a therapy partner or a therapy producer at Patreon. Either one's fine.
Go
It's
wherever.
patreon.com/therapy.
Or just Patreon anything and just give them.
Yeah,
do that too.
What do we
patreon.com/pod
care?
therapy.
Don't worry about it.
Whatever.
Somebody's going to open that shit.
Whatever.
God damn it.
Jim,
America. Fuck yeah.
which state was the first state to grant women the right to vote?
They can vote? Jesus Christ.
At least in one state.
This explains
Ooh, I
so
have a
much.
guess for this.
All right. I'm a big fan of women's suffrage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to need options.
Wyoming, Vermont,
Okay.
Wisconsin,
Ooh,
or South Carolina.
shit.
Ooh,
I
my
wouldn't pick
guess
any
wasn't
of
on
those.
there.
I feel like
The
Vermont.
year was 1998.
In Sync was topping the charts. Beanie Babies were crushing it.
And women
Women
can
can
finally
vote.
vote.
like a motherfucker. All right, give me Vermont. I feel like that's a super progressive place. I feel like they would be way ahead on this shit.
No.
God
What?
damn it, Bernie, you fucked up again. He was alive. I promise you he was there.
Oh, of course he
Oh
was.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
Jacob, any guess?
What were the options?
Wyoming, Vermont, Wisconsin, or South Carolina?
Wisconsin.
No.
Wow. Don't
Wow,
let
those
Nick
were
get
both
the
in my-
points. It's not going to be South Carolina. Let's be real. It's not that.
But Wyoming was the other guess? Was the other thing?
He took Wyoming, I think.
No, I took
No.
Wisconsin.
Oh, you
Wisconsin.
took Wisconsin. Fuck, Wyoming. Jesus. Neither
Wyoming
of these
doesn't seem
sound
like
right.
it's it, though.
I could see it happening because maybe there were just so few
Wyoming?
people there
They
that
didn't
like
care?
the women could stage a coup and get the vote.
That's true. They
Or
were
everybody was
religiously
like, let them
suppressed.
just have their
so.
fun. It's not going to matter. Like
Yeah.
we're Wyoming, you know.
I'm
not
going
change
with
the fucking
the
electoral college.
Carolina. Or which,
South Carolina?
Yeah.
That's a point for Nick.
Shit.
Oh,
Should've listened to
Wyoming,
Jim.
1869.
Wow, it was the summer of '69.
I think
Jacob.
we're all tied at 1 now.
Oh, we are. We're doing great,
Oh, yeah,
guys.
yeah.
We're doing amazing.
All right, Jacob. The 18th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution prohibiting the manufacture and sale of alcohol within the United States was repealed by which amendment?
It was the 18th that did it. I think it was the 21st
Ooh, that feels
that
cool.
got rid of it.
21, and it's the drinking age. Oh, that'd be
Shooting
cool.
from the hip. That's
Yeah.
2 points.
Oh, my
hero.
gosh.
Just taking it.
Woo.
I love it.
Come on.
Amazing.
I would have said
Of course
19.
she's gonna know the
I'd have been
alcohol
like, oh,
Yeah.
they changed that shit a week later.
And history. Alcohol and history is the perfect combination.
I know, right?
All right, Whitney.
Yeah.
Born in Ely, Nevada, she served as the First Lady from 1969 until her husband resigned from office on August 8th, 1974.
Oh my God.
We need the first name. Mrs. Nixon will not be accepted.
Dang
as
it. I was
the
like,
answer.
Nixon is it, but what's her first name?
Oh,
I didn't know she was
no.
from Ely, Nevada.
I didn't know that. Options.
I know that he went to Whittier College.
Yeah, that I did see that. Okay, what's
the...
It's a college in Whittier, California.
Oh,
It's where
okay.
Richard Nixon went to college.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
That is where his presidential library is.
Explains a lot.
All right. Elizabeth, Patricia, Caroline, or Ellen?
Oh boy.
it's one of the first two, I feel like.
Don't
Trying to
look
see if
for
Jacob
us.
will give
We're
me
not
a
giving
Oh,
you
free.
no.
shit.
I don't know.
The first two
I
was
know it.
Elizabeth or what? Was it
Patricia?
Patricia?
Patty Nixon, Lizzie Nixon.
I think B.
Patricia?
Yeah.
Correct.
All right.
Wow.
Very good.
Ooh.
Damn, dude. So wait, you've got 3, and then
I
because you
think
got
I have
2.
like 8.
Fuck
What?
You have 3, and then you have 2 because you've
Been
got
8
2
I have
singles.
2.
And
Yeah.
I've got 1. Fuck this.
And
game.
Nick has 1.
Yep.
And
No, Nick has 4. Nick, remember when it falls to Nick, he gets
Oh.
like a huge reward.
Nick gets 1.
I
He got 1.
think he's right.
Nobody's ever said that.
I think he's right.
You know what? I don't want it to be.
Nobody
true.
thinks
All right,
Jim's
I'm not
right.
rooting
Jim's
for
trying to lose
Just
to
saying.
Nick. That's what he-
Fuck you. I just don't want you to win. I don't mind if
Oh,
the
I
ref
see, I
wins.
see.
Who gives a shit? Nick can have it. I don't care. Psych medicine and digestion. Hey, Pod Therapy crew. First time writer here. I've been listening for a couple years now, and I really appreciate all you do for mental health. My wife, whom I'm just going to start doing that, whom I love very much, she might be listening if this is read, has been on several medications for different mental health conditions for almost as long as I've known her, which is a couple months shy of 25 years now. Wait, maybe it's been me this whole time. Nice.
Yikes.
And with the shortage of questions, she wanted to ask if there is any notable information or perhaps studies on the longer-term effects of mental health medications on the digestive system. That's all for now. Keep up the good work, Anonymous.
Nope. Sorry. There's none.
Never been any research.
You'll be
checked
fine. Just take some probiotics. Just kidding.
Did they?
This is a good time to bring up our sponsor, AG1.
Yeah. I'm still using those drops.
Digestive
I still have a sample.
I just, well, never mind. I was going to say I just bought some from Costco because I was like, I like those. Peter's like, me too.
So she's
Okay.
been on the medicines as long as Ryder has known her for 25 years.
Right.
And then I suppose that the tummy stuff just started? I mean, I don't see any reference to how long the tummy stuff has happened.
Well,
Well, it sounds like something
Just
is
curious.
popping up.
Yeah.
And, basically just asking, like, is it possible that this is just a long-term effect?
Yeah. Well, and I feel like the gut health is like it's trending a lot right now. Not like it's wrong, but just I think it's becoming more talked about.
People are very aware of it.
They're very aware. And some people I've even seen, I mean, I don't know the source or if it's reliable or anything, but I have heard people say like, oh, it's just like your second brain or whatever,
Right,
you know, like
second
they
brain, yeah.
refer to it like that. So I wonder if there's just a connection there. Maybe the wife is going through where they're like, well, I've been on these medications to help my actual brain. Like, how does this affect my gut health and all of that? I mean, that's kind of how I hear maybe this question being presented.
Makes sense. I think it's tough too, because usually I'm looking for the short term, right? Because like we're adding this to your system. That's usually when we're going to see a disruption. For somebody to be on medicines for 2 decades and now they're starting to notice a tummy disruption, it's tricky because any medicine that you're taking for decades of time, there can be they could have had some small mitigating effect that compounded for every day for 25 years, and now your stomach lining is weak, or there's some kind of like biochemical thing that's disrupting. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say that I've seen the research on this, but usually I'm going with short-term disruption. Long-term, that would not be my guess.
If we have any pharmacist listeners,
I think there's a sizable pharmacy contingent.
I know we got at least one.
There's one.
I don't know. Do
sizable.
medications ever change any ingredient that's not like one of the main active ingredients, but is something else that's in there as like something else that provides some other feature for the medication, just as like a...
did this medication that she's on suddenly get like...
change the chemistry, the recipe.
Yeah,
like a new ingredient.
A small ingredient change that just changed something.
Point.
And then all of a sudden... I wouldn't think so either.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I know that there's medicines like take Prilosec or ondansetron or whatever for indigestion, right? And so like heartburn. That's one of those ones that you can take in the beginning, and then if you stick to it long term, it does end up having like a delirative effect on gut health and bones. Like you can start to get osteoporosis but it's like one of those medicines like, boy, you have to take that for a long time and really, really regularly. But it's one of those medicines that you wouldn't notice any disruption short term, but then long term, sure, there are some, baggage attached to that. And when it comes to like, it's tough because like psych medicine is such a broad brush, right? Like we're talking about everything from your casual antihistamine like hydroxyzine for anxiety to an antipsychotic, like olanzapine or something like that. And these are all having such different mechanisms of action. I mean, anything taken for 25 years, I think there could be an argument that it's starting to cause some kind of problem. Sure.
Yeah. There could be a risk for that.
I've never seen a particular research study on it. I know that SSRIs are one of the most longitudinally tested medicines we have. And that just means long-term testing over broad numbers of people, and is generally one of the safest medicines.
Because people are generally on them for a very long time.
Yeah, very long term. We've had them for a long time.
Right.
So SSRIs are widely celebrated, but no medicine is without, its recourse. And if you're on something for decades, it's going to happen.
SSRI.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about digestive health. My mind immediately went to sometimes the long-term negative effects that can happen from like antipsychotics or like bipolar medications, things that people tend to be on for long periods of time, but not really a lot of digestive reactions. That's not something I'm as familiar with.
Yeah, I've not worked with anybody that's had digestive issues from medication.
Short, so that's it. No problems. You're good. Jacob was right.
So we're all set.
I mean, of course, most of my clients are withdrawing from heroin. So I don't.
Their digestive system's
been
fucked.
bothering your tummy? And like, I don't know. I'm sweating.
I'm shitting my brains out.
I'm shitting my brains out. I want fucking fentanyl.
Something is.
Tell me how your tummy feels.
Something's affecting my tum-tum.
Yeah. I've been on this for a while. But like some of them are long-term stuff like Xanax, like Xanax for anxiety.
Oh yeah.
It's one of those ones that long-term there are going to be some noticeable things like cognitive impairment, notice like memory loss and things like that. So I think the safe bet, Ryder, is that there is no medicine I think that exists that you can take regularly for decades and there not over time be some accumulated effect. And I think the stomach and the digestive tract for many of us is this black box of like so many things affect it, and like you see like the weather affects it, pressure affects it, like this too much seasoning on this thing affected it, and it can really mess you up. So I wouldn't be surprised if long-term use of these medicines are affecting it. I would also be checking in on things like supplements. I feel like a lot of times people don't even report whatever supplements they're taking to their regular doctor because the doctor says, what are you on? And they just tell them the orange bottle
The
meds.
medication. Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you need to tell them everything. Every multivitamin, how much fucking zinc are you on? I remember my dad, he was, oh God, he thought he was having early onset, like very severe arthritis.
Okay.
He could barely close his hand. He was in so much pain. Everything was just really, really bad. And my dad's like, ironically, you wouldn't know this looking at me. He's an athlete. Like he's like a tennis player. Like he's always, so I was a very big disappointment to my dad, if you're wondering. But yeah, so like,
Not because of that, though.
Let's dive into that.
Yeah. You know what? Thanks. Let's open up on this.
We're done with this question.
how
Let's
does
go
that
to
make
that
you
one.
feel?
This is just Jim's
remember
friends
he
in
was
the room right
probably-
now, so you
I
tell
think
us,
he was
buddy.
in his 40s or his 50s. And like he still had a very active lifestyle, basketball, tennis, bowling. He was always doing so many things. And then like he just couldn't move. And it had been going on for months and getting worse and worse and worse. And he'd been meeting with all these doctors and these specialists, and they're all trying to figure it out. And they're like, yeah, I guess you might have arthritis when you start talking about like very serious medications for arthritis. And then one day he's randomly at a doctor's office. He's trying a new doctor, or it might have been like an endocrinologist or something like that. And they're like, what supplements are you on? First doctor to ever ask that.
Yeah.
And my dad is like one of those guys that like
Takes
he'll fucking order shit from India. Like he just anything he's heard of that he thinks is cool, he's gonna try it.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was on like 8 gajillion milligrams of vitamin B
Oh my
because he had
gosh.
heard something on a podcast.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh,
Like ours.
That's it.
that was it. Yeah, you
That's your
can't
problem.
have that many milligrams of vitamin B, or you're going to have inflammation of the joints.
You're ODing on vitamin B.
You're just overdosing on this.
Oh my
and so they're like, stop
God.
that. Don't take any for a month. Let's see what happens. And a week later, he was perfect. And
Yeah.
he's like,
Wow.
oh, I just got back my whole life. And it's like, these are little things that we don't think about. So if
Yeah.
your wife's going through all this digestive stuff, just a PSA, always make sure you're discussing every vitamin. They are not just benign in any
Good
dose.
point.
You need to talk about that.
Don't take the medication that you've been taking for a couple of decades off the table as far as
Right.
potential causes.
Could be.
But look past that as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah.
And don't forget to go see a therapist. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are wrapping up the show. You are listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Jake Schneider, Malia, Richard Macy, Sonny Boy, Thunder Kruger, Falcon, Scoop, Slurp, Motherfucker, Sandra McWaffle, Elena, Gabrielle, Adame, Adam, Warren. If you would like to sponsor the show, become a therapy producer. Patreon.com/therapy. I got more America trivia if
Do
you
it.
want
This is
some.
Let's
my
do it.
chance to
Go.
redeem myself.
Okay, Jim, who was the only U.S. president to also serve as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court?
Oh, my God. Warren. No, wait. That was the Supreme Court Justice. I'd like to start again. This person was a Supreme Court Justice and president. There was a person
Yes.
who was president first and then left. It's either Warren Harding. Part of me thinks it's Roosevelt, but then I'm like, that can't possibly be true. But then part of my brain says it is true, but it's not true, Jim. Don't believe that. Give me options.
John Adams, James Monroe, William Howard Taft, or Calvin Coolidge?
Fuck me. None of my thoughts were on there. Give me Taft.
1 point.
There you go.
Wow. Well done.
bitch!
I was really hoping that was coming to me. I fucking knew that. I was like, Taft. And they had to build a bigger bathtub for him in the White House because he was fat.
Really fat. Fattest man in the world.
Those are like
He weighed
175
200 pounds.
Yeah. They've never seen a man so
Those are
big.
like
He's
the
an
two
elephant.
facts that I know about Taft. He had a
you
big
seen-
bathtub, and he was
big
a Supreme Court justice.
Have you seen the thing going around now about like comparing people in their 30s back like 50 years
Oh,
ago
yeah,
to people in
yeah,
their
yeah.
30s now?
Yeah, you look at him
And just
now.
like-
we're infants.
Just
Yeah.
crazy.
Our pasty,
They lived hard
beautiful
lives.
skin. Yeah. Had to go fetch their own water in a pail.
All right, Jacob. Which state, other than Texas, was an independent republic before joining the U.S.?
California.
Oh.
Final answer?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
No.
Options.
Okay. Vermont, California, Florida, Oregon.
At least I was in the options.
You are.
That's close enough to make the options.
Oh, boy.
It's the worst when you get it wrong from
Now,
the hip and then you're not even on
listeners,
the option.
listeners
yeah.
are screaming Hawaii, but Hawaii was a kingdom.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
So,
way
this
to
is an
read their
independent
minds because you're right.
And it was conquered. They,
You
did
said
not
the other ones
join.
were Florida.
That's true.
They didn't join
They
in the
were
traditional
annexed.
sense. They joined in the American way.
Yeah. Very American.
You said Florida, Oregon, Vermont were the other ones?
Vermont,
Island.
Florida, and Oregon. Yes.
Oh, it was Vermont.
Florida.
No.
Oh, no, that's
Vermont
wrong.
Vermont is in
Seems the
every
obvious one.
fucking
Yeah.
answer. If you notice that, a lot of Vermont.
It's going to be Oregon.
That's what I was thinking.
It's
They're
definitely
they're up there
Oregon.
doing their own shit.
God, they were independent?
It's definitely Oregon. It's got to be.
You're a liar.
Jacob's
Am I?
fucking
You, sir.
Am I?
And
You are
you never had
a
rollerblades.
sneaky son of a bitch.
Exactly.
What did you say? What was your answer?
don't know.
God
You can't
damn it.
No help.
No.
Give Jim
I
his
just wanna
four
see-
options again.
Yeah, give him all
Okay,
the
your four
options.
options are Vermont, California, Florida, or Oregon.
Fuck. I know California was guessed. I don't know what Whitney said. Shit.
It's Oregon, Jim.
Give me Vermont.
It is Vermont.
Good job. Good job.
Formerly known as the Vermont Republic from 1777 to
I
1799.
never knew that. I
Had
thought
no idea.
Texas was the only one.
All right, Whitney.
Okay.
Which
Texas thinks they're the only one.
Yeah, well, that's the message. That's what our history book
Right.
says.
Right,
Because we make up the history.
Yeah. Which we fucking false flagged the shit out of Texas. My daughter just had to do a book report on Texas, and she came to me horrified because this is the first time at 4th grade that she realized maybe America isn't an honest place.
Why?
She's like,
What did
"Dad, I'm
Texas
looking- reading the
never
history about this," and her
dishonest?
teacher is from Mexico. Her family's
Oh,
from
boy.
Mexico, so the teacher was very carefully explaining, like,
Remember the
this
Alamo?
was stolen from my people.
Yes.
Like, and, you know,
Yes.
not lying, not embellishing, just
No.
Yeah.
making sure to not fucking whitewash this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my daughter just comes to me like broken, and she's like, "America did bad things," and I'm like, "That is like the only bad thing we've ever."
For now.
Don't
Until
even
next
worry
year.
about
Ignore
it.
the rest of the country.
Don't worry, there's nothing else to learn. That happened, and now we're here. Like nothing else.
Luckily, that's the worst thing that ever happened in Texas.
Yeah. Damn it.
All right, Whitney. Which U.S. Supreme Court case established judicial review?
Oh boy.
Options, so I can just randomly guess.
Okay. Dred Scott versus Stanford, Plessy versus Ferguson, Marbury versus Madison, or Macaulay versus Maryland.
B.
No.
Dang it.
Marbury versus Madison.
Yes. 1 point.
Yes.
Very good.
Give me
I've-
more clueless
I'm
trivia.
at 3 points.
I've got more. You
Let's
want,
do more.
You
I might
want to
be
run through these
4.
real quick? Do we got time?
All
I
right,
got
go.
my own.
Go.
Okay, here we go.
I'm at 4
Rapid
points.
fire. Jim.
Rapid fire. Jim, what does the 12th Amendment establish?
Options.
Establishes that the vice president is elected together with the president rather than the runner-up as the president in the presidential election.
That might be it.
Prohibits excessive fines and excessive bail. Prohibits the denial of right to vote based off of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. Or prohibits the revocation of voting rights based on the failure to pay taxes.
Vice President.
A? Yes.
Yeah.
Wow,
5 points.
Jim's doing
I'm
it.
crushing this shit.
Man.
I'm in the lead.
Jacob, what was the name of the U.S. plan to add Western Europe to aid Western Europe after World War II?
I want you to know I was all set to say the Enola Gay.
Oh yeah.
If you had stuck with what plan,
You still
the
can.
way.
I was ready for Enola Gay.
Yeah,
You still can. What was the plan
What's
to
the Enola
aid
Gay, Jim?
Yeah. The plane that dropped the bomb on
Which
Japan.
one?
Oh, the
Ooh.
I don't
was
even
it
know these words.
Little boy? The first one, Hiroshima.
It was Hiroshima, but it was,
Is that
I
Fat
believe
Man?
that was Fat Man.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Go
That is
on.
the plane that dropped the first nuclear bomb on Japan.
Yes. What was the plan?
The
for
plan
Europe?
to aid Western
to
Europe
aid
after
Western
World War
Europe.
II?
What was it? Oh, what are the options?
Truman Doctrine, Monroe Doctrine, Marshall Plan, Eisenhower Doctrine.
Oh, fuck me. That would be
I know
Eisenhower.
No.
Truman.
I know this one.
Whitney.
I know this
Truman.
one.
No.
Marshall
it.
Plan. Marshall Plan.
It is the Marshall Plan.
Fuck. All day. I am so fucking American in this bitch. Oh.
All right, Whitney, here we go. Last one.
I
Okay.
just fucking sweat freedom.
The 27th Amendment, delaying laws affecting congressional salary from taking effect until the next election of representatives,
Smart
was
rule.
proposed on September 25th, 1789, and took how long before it was ratified?
How long did it take Congress to pass a law
To pay
delaying
themselves?
the pay raise
Yeah.
for
Yes.
Congress?
Yeah.
Options.
12 years, 195 days. 16 years, 56 days. 23 years, 210 days. 202 years, 223 days.
Still isn't done.
I mean, I guess the last one.
Yes.
Yeah.
200
Yay!
years.
Proposed on September 25th, 1789,
Christ.
and
Yep.
ratified on May 7th, 1992.
Yep.
Wheels of justice turn slowly.
Wow.
America!
Yeah, I'll take the W on
Oh, damn.
that.
Jim made a comeback.
I just always come on her back. As we wrap up the show, we
That's
want to
fair.
remind you that if you sign up at patreon.com/therapy, you can get the extended show ad-free a day early, as well as enjoy our live chat Discord community and our weekly deep dives, interviews, skill shares, research roundups, and rants. And we've got some new friends that have joined the Therap Party. Who's new to patreon.com/therapy, Nick?
We got some new theropods.
Woohoo.
Welcome, Ian Johnson. Welcome to the party. Welcome, Kristen Robbins. Thank you. And also, Sherry Hare.
Yeah, Sherry
So
Hare.
Welcome,
we
everyone.
left her off the list when we announced all the theropods.
Don't you wee me.
No, we as Patreon. We as the system that we currently
The
use.
cog.
Yeah, so thank you, Sherry, for bringing that to our attention, and to the rest of you. If we
Thank
miss your
you.
name,
Yes.
please.
say so.
We love the annual payment thing.
Yes.
It is
Yeah.
great. It is wonderful. But it's kind of a pain in the ass and
It
getting
makes
all the
this
names
part
right.
a little harder.
Yeah.
It does. It
Yeah.
does. So names are gonna get missed. So please let us know. You're not. We will not take offense to it.
No,
if
no,
you
no.
just let us know.
If
Please.
you
just
have added yourself to Patreon and you're not hearing it, especially on like the monthly thank you, if you're not
Yeah.
catching it, or if you've deleted yourself from Patreon and you keep hearing your name for the last 7 years and you're wondering why, we'd love an update.
Yeah.
Please email us, podtherapyguys@gmail.com. We'd love to fix that. But thank you, new friends. So glad to have you with us. And Sherry, looking forward to seeing you again at Scoop Fest. I think you always try to make an appearance. It'll be a lot of fun. But we'd like to thank the benevolent, revered, generous, and flagrantly pro-therapy diehards who love you all so much they give till it hurts. The Thera partners, Dirty B and Pickett. We want to thank our bosses, the mysterious and shrouded Illuminati members of the fan club, the Thera producers. Thank you, Jake Schneider, Myra, Robert Brownie Jr. Mint, Smitty Scoop, Richard fucking Macy, Judy Schneider, Malia, Leon Kassab, Carolyn Albert, Kevin Chamberlain, Tess Miller, Dan Martin, Sammy Scoop, Slurpy Kai Motherfucker, Ben Stanley, Slap in Your Face, Sarah Smith, Adam Hathaway, Byler T, Mike Helm, Oscar Swanrose, Paris, A Sunny Boy, Darren Cunningham, Lib, Sandra McWaffle, Team Monaco, Thunder Cougar, Falcon Scoop, Heyo, Hannah Marie, Andrew Langmead, Emma, Tonka, and Pony Soprano, Alina, Cody DeLorean Guy, Brady Malachik, Chick Fellatio, Gabriel Adame, Sean Sutherland, Max the Ginger Scoop, Chad Mag, and Adam Warren.
And if you'd like to hear this episode uncut and unedited,
And why wouldn't you?
and enjoy our spontaneous side projects, go to patreon.com/therapy. And thank you for supporting mental health.
That's all the time we got for this week's session. We would thank our singular landlord, Jacob Smith.
SJ.
And SJ in the Ruckus.
SJ.
And thanks to those of you contributing. That's right. Fuck Jacob. Just SJ. And we'd like to thank you, something. Remember, pod therapy isn't something you should keep all to yourself. Share the episode with the world. Tag us on the socials when you do. It's at PodTherapyGuys on Instagram, Threads, and Twitter. It's /PodTherapy on Facebook. And don't forget about all the extra goodies at patreon.com/therapy.
If you want to submit a question to the show, you can ask anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com or click the link in the episode description to be taken to our anonymous Google form. I'm Nick Tangeman.
I'm Whitney.
I'm Jim.
Thanks, and we'll see you for your appointment next week.
This went well. I liked this.
Yeah, it went as well as it
Space.
usually does.
This is good. Yeah.
The
Not-
usual.
Not great, but I like it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.